New York and, what these two things mean socially, like how they reflect, society and capitalism and whatever. That's kind of my shit, Hi, I am Jake Flores.
Where are you from, Jake?
I'm from Austin, Texas originally as a comedian. Been living in New York and Brooklyn for the last 4 or 5 years.
I'm from Texas. I live in New York and some bullshit now, but I'm from Texas. Don't fuck with me like I'm not from Texas. I don't know why I'm doing this accent, but I'm from Texas. Hey, I'm from Texas here. I don't know what I'm doing, right? But I'm from fucking Texas, okay? And I'm woke as fuck about gender. And those two things mean one goddamn thing. You call me by my preferred pronoun. Y'all, right? Y'all is the best pronoun. You will never misgender someone if you're just walking around drunk all the time calling everyone fucking y'all.
And what were some of your favorite comedians growing up?
Oh, man. When I was real young, I would watch, just Comedy Central and not really know who I was watching. And then I'd meet these people later on, when I was doing stand-up or whatever. I remember watching Marin when I was real young, and really liking it. I think about that a lot. It's pretty weird, I was like a 10-year-old who was like, I get this cynical, egotistic, like bohemian guy, but I did, yeah.
You've met some of these people. How disillusioning did that end up being?
It varies from person to person, Like, they say don't meet your heroes, and it's not a lot, but sometimes people tend to, let you down, be a little bit of a mess, and then sometimes it's like, oh, they're everything you thought they were going to be. A lot of comics I can say I worked with who I was big fans of proved me right. They were great. Some I won't name, complete fucking psychos, but it goes with the territory.
Yeah. You came from Austin, now you're in New York. I know there's a lot of differences between LA and New York stuff. Well, what were the differences kind of between doing comedy in Austin and doing comedy in New York City?
Somebody once described New York to me as a city with like an exclamation point on it. Like no matter what it is, it has an exclamation point. It's like when something terrible happens, it's worse than it would be anywhere else. But then when you have like a great set, you were there next to some fucking famous person you used to watch on TV, and you reach these high highs or whatever. So it's just kind of like living in an exaggerated fast motion. I lived in Austin forever. There's all these old musicians that'll just, work a job, make a record in their spare time. You ask them, how's the record coming? They go, great. They don't go, I'm going to be on America's Got Talent tomorrow and it's going to make my career. They just, you love what you do and you make a thing. Humours, the stand-up records album we made a few years ago. There's a lot going on there. It's actually kind of fitting that we're in Minnesota right now, because one of the reasons I decided to call it Humours is I was thinking a lot about the Replacements, and I really liked their sort of sense of humor and their antagonism with like the music industry and just the concept of selling your art and that sort of shit, So they made an album called Let It Be. Yeah. That's a very funny thing to do, just name your album like after somebody else's clearly famous thing, So that idea kind of collided with just a conversation I was having with a friend of mine. We were trying to figure out the funniest album cover of all time. And I think Fleetwood Mac Rumors is just one of the weirdest fucking things ever, So you can see the dots connecting, then went, oh shit, Rumors, I'll call it Humours. It's also kind of a double entendre for the way the medieval, people would refer to your bile and your insides, which to me, comedy is sort of adjacent to, I've been accused of puking out jokes a few times.
I was in college, and I was dating this girl. She's drawing a picture of me, right? We're hanging out, she's drawing a picture. She goes, hey, man, I don't know if you know this, but you have very wide-set eyes. You have very exotic features, right? And I was reading a textbook, and the textbook was telling me that wide-set eyes are often a byproduct of fetal alcohol syndrome. So here's why I shouldn't have kids, though, because I turned to her and I said, hey, it'd be really funny is if I got you drunk or I got you pregnant. Probably both. And then you got drunk a lot while you were pregnant, and then you gave birth to a child that we would name Sharkface, right? Because eyes would be all over the side of his head, able to see in both directions. That'd be hilarious, but not in the long term of that story, right? You don't need a Sharkface kid living on your couch, not going to community college, playing Xbox and shit all day, smoking menthols for some reason. I don't know why.
I think it's interesting because if you look at Humours, you see a fresh face, clean shaven. Well, not clean shaven, but you know, I mean, and this is what New York's done to you.
Yeah. You know, it's funny that you bring that up because I've been seriously trying to cut my hair for like a year straight, and I'm just so fucking busy. I just kind of like, I hadn't come up. I kind of live a life that's just wall-to-wall fucking work, and I kind of just forgot to pay attention to what my head looks like.
This is the part of the show where I guess I would ask if you guys like drugs, but we can just skip over that. The gathering here we're at right now. I feel like you guys, like, people like drugs, but you guys don't even know about the good ones. Yeah, check this out. I started doing poppers recently. No one fucking knows about this drug. This guy fucking knows. There's like a new woke, like some of you guys don't know about this shit. They're fun. They're like a disco drug from the 70s that just gets you high as you sniff it, gets you high as fuck. You buy them at a like gas station or some shit, and no one does them. But everyone knows one thing about them. What's that? They dilate your butthole, and that's why no one does them. So that's the only thing. There's an amazing drug in this little capsule, but no one does them because no one wants people to think that they dilate your. Some drugs expand your mind. All right.
Are there any other unheralded drugs that we need to bring back, like microdot? Can we find somebody to make some microdot out there?
What is a microdot?
I don't know. I think it's like really strong acid.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
Before my time too. I don't know.
I don't know, man.
And you can't get Quaaludes anymore, can you? Like they stopped making those.
No, I don't think you can get them anymore, but I'm certain someone's got them stockpiled.
So where can people find you?
Yo, you can find me on the internet. My handle for everything is @FeralJokes, which is an anagram for my name, Jake Flores. It's just it became a brand. You can listen to me on my podcast, Pod Damn America, if you're into politics and stuff like that. If you're not, and you're into something way dumber, you can listen to Mr. Cleo, which is a podcast I do where me and my friend Danny Feltz get drunk and run a psychic hotline where I read tarot cards for people that just call in from Twitter and shit.
That's great.
Check out my Twitter. I'll pin my tour dates. I'm hitting the road. Come see me. It's always the first tweet. It's pinned to the top.
Spectacular.
Cool.
Thanks, Jake.
Thank you.
Really dumb way to end it. I'll just.
No, I like it. It's dramatic.